And that's another reason why I'm eager to kind of like, I'm not like, I don't want to like rush the process, but I feel like I know that once we sign the documents on both ends, we're in first position to purchase this property.
As soon as that purchase and sale is executed, you're the first one that has the right to buy that until that closing date expires.
Yes. And so the next thing they want from us is they don't want us to purchase the property separately, which is how you drafted the seller's contract. They want us to purchase the property all together. Have you thought about that?
Did. Yes. Okay. So what they're saying is, you and I, we evaluated the different properties on their, because here's the reason why we did that. There's lines on the property and they're actually separate properties. They're just grouped together in a purchase and sale. Mm-hmm. So if you went and bought a dozen eggs at the store, those are still single eggs. Yeah. It's not just one big 12 egg thing, right?
Right.
It's a carton and it has 12 different eggs in it. Okay. These are properties that are separated. So we can assign a value to each one of the properties.
And they don't want us to do that.
Well, we're just doing an evaluation. What they want is one purchase and sale that buys all three at the same time. And that's okay.
And how, I was going to say, is that against us?
No. No, but how we come up with the financing
is against us.
So let me say this. If there's a commercial property, do you think commercial property becomes vacant more than, say, a residential property?
No.
Well, they do.
They do?
And the reason is the business that goes in, they can come in and out, right? Mm-hmm. The likelihood is a person that has a business, if they've rented a place, it's likely that that building will be filled for a long time because you established the neighborhood and your business. Mm-hmm. If you owned a little store there or something like that, and all the improvement that goes into it or whatever it might be, once you're in there, you're probably in there for a long time. You don't move your location all over the place, right?
Yeah, because, it's your business.
It costs a lot to do that. Mm-hmm. But if that business went out, it might take a long time to find a new tenant for that building. Mm-hmm. Okay? So now it's not just anybody.
Okay. So it's not rental, like move out next month, somebody else move in.
Well, if you're in a great location and you have a standardized building that someone can use it for offices or something like that, but here you're going to have a building that might be for multiple different areas, but it's offices essentially. Yeah. But it's also a building that fits your needs right now, but might not fit another person's needs. No. If it's a different type of business, right? And it's also... Can't roller skate in it, so it's not going to be a roller skating rink, so take those people out.
But it's big enough to be an event hall.
Could be. So, okay, so what we have is, here's a single family house. Anybody can live in it. Mm-hmm. So we have everyone we can market to. Mm-hmm. That's a larger source of people.
It's a 3-bedroom, too.
Okay.
Or 2-bedroom. I think it's...
But my point is this. If you have a house... Anyone can live in the house, so you have the largest pool of people in which to choose from. If the house becomes vacant, you can fill it with another person.
Exactly.
If you have a business, that business might be selective to what type of business would go in there. You can't have a trucking company going in there, so they need a different place. So it's not just marketable to everybody. And so therefore, the lenders that loan money against that property, they might loan you less money against that property in a loan-to-value sense. Okay. Okay. So instead of loaning you $80 against a $100 asset, they might go 65% against $100 because they want to make sure that if they get it back, they can put it on the market and sell it and get all of their money back plus interest and any fees and things that they have.
And by them wanting it all together, it depreciates the value of where the money is going, so the lender doesn't know where the money is going.
Well, we're just going to have to assign values to each because we're going to borrow against the properties equal, in what we need to do. So on the house, we might borrow a little bit higher loan to value against raw land. Now, how much income does raw land generate? None. So we have to do something to it. Yeah. Right. So we'll probably borrow the least on the raw land. Right. But we're going to all three of these.
Which is what you did.
That's what I wrote up.
But they don't.
They want equal mortgages being given against it. They just want a package deal so that they can present it as a package deal because it's easier to explain. That's all we're really talking about. It has nothing to do with the financing. It has to do with the presentation.
Okay. So
what
are they looking? So they're looking for us to say, great, we'll buy this property for $9.5. You know.
Yep. Here's what we'll do. We'll put it in one. It's $950,000. We're going to give you $600,000, I think is what it was.
For the whole thing.
$600,000 cash from these mortgages. And we have to describe that. Because if you tell somebody, I'm going to give you $600,000 in cash, like even I have the money in my account. No, we have to describe that as we're going to give you $600,000 in cash from the proceeds of a loan that we'll borrow from a lender of our choice. That's how that, remember how that read? And we're going to go out and borrow it from a lender that's our choice, but we're going to borrow from them. So we're notifying the seller that we don't have the money, but we have the ability to borrow.
We have the ability to get the money. Right.
And then the balance will be held back. And as I discussed the other day, instead of separating each one of these into its own little mortgage against here, we'll give a larger mortgage. And what the larger mortgage will do is say, if this property here, I'll just call this one A, B, and C. If this property here is sold, then for the payment of what essentially is owed against that property, let's say 20% over whatever, for the payment of $45,000, this one will have what's called a deed release provision. So the deed of trust that's on there, they'll release that property from what they're holding as security because they have security in the building until we pay them off. They'll release that one, and for payment of this, so it's gonna look almost mirrored to the purchase of what we did because how much money they're getting out of them versus how much each property is worth is how much they would get paid off if I sell that individual piece of the property.